Welcome to session 3 of lesson 1. In this lesson, you will be applying all of your knowledge for finding the area of a parallelogram to some practice problems. So you will be working in stations today if you are in person, and if you are working remotely, then you will take this time to go to the stations in Schoology and work on those. But before you go to those stations, what I want you to do is I want you to solve the problems on these pages. And there is an example problem in the box, and then it starts with apply it. And with question number 1, I do want to remind everyone that when you have two shapes, so we have this shape and this shape, if we want the area, we're going to have to combine those two areas. So we would find the area of this shape and then our second shape, and then we would add those two areas together. So I did want to remind everyone of that. And then with question number 2, you're finding the area of the parallelogram. Looks like they give you a base and a height. And they do throw in decimals and fractions with these practice problems. So you might know how to find the area by multiplying the base times the height, but you might not be sure about how to multiply mixed numbers and fractions and decimals. And if you have questions with that, please let me know, and I'll be happy to help you. So you're going to go ahead and work these problems on your own, and if you have questions, then you're going to ask me. Number 3 is a word problem. And then number 4 is another word problem. Number 5 is a multiple choice. Note that in number 5, it says select all that apply. So make sure that you do that. Number 6 is another word problem. And the model for number 6 is over here. This is the model for that. So do make note of that. And then number 7 asks you to explain. And on number 8, once you find your area, you are going to bubble it in over here. I think that is just practice for test prep for you to be able to bubble in answers. We don't really bubble in answers in that way. We would bubble in an answer choice of A, B, C, or D. But if the bubbles look confusing to you, then just write your solution for finding the area. Number 9 says math journal. It says draw 2 different parallelograms that each have an area of 12 square centimeters. Label the base and height of each parallelogram. So we talked about a problem in session 2 where you had 48 square units, and you had to decide if all of these answer choices, you had to pick which ones would have an area of 48. And there was more than one. Like there was 4 times 12, and then there was 12 times 4. And I can't remember what the other one was right now, but there were different ways to get to that. So you want to think of different ways to get to 12. So you're multiplying 2 numbers together in order to get to 12. So think of all of your factors of 12. 1 times 12, 2 times 6. Those are examples there. So you're going to draw 2 parallelograms, each with a different base and a different height. But both of them will have an area of 12 square centimeters. And again, if you have questions, I am here to help you. So you're going to answer those questions as best you can on your own. And then as you have questions, you may ask. After you do that, you're going to go to your math stations. So when you go to Schoology, your courses is where you want to be. So to find Schoology, you go to ClassLink, and it's the little Schoology icon. Let me pull that over on my screen so you guys can see that. So on ClassLink, this is ClassLink, I have a lot of apps on ClassLink, but you're going to find the one for Schoology, and it says Schoology Live, okay? So it is right here for me. So you're going to look for that app, that's Schoology, okay? At this point, we should be familiar with finding Schoology because we've had to do it to get to our work, right? So that's Schoology. And you're going to go to courses. So up here, you have the Wilson County Schools logo, and then you have courses next to that. So select courses, and then you're going to find your math class. All of my math classes, I changed the picture to my Bitmoji avatar. So you're going to find your math class. And it will take it a minute to load here. And when it loads, it will show you some folders. And I've told you guys I'm still working on the glitch where it says mic test. I'm sorry about that, but that's nothing. Okay, we're looking at our folders. So we want to go to the folder that says Math Stations. Now you will not be able to do all of the math stations because some of them require cards or dice or place value discs or Cuisinart rods. So those stations you would not be able to do. However, there are other stations that you can do. So you would click on this Math Stations PDF. And when that loads, it will have a list of our math stations for the week. So this is what it looks like. And it says Alex. So if you have not done any Alex for the week, then you need to do that if you are not done with your Alex. So you're going to start there with Alex. Then you can't do Cuisinart rods and place value discs. Those are here at school. So you can move on. The next one I really want you to do, I want you to skip over the Blooket and Nearpod and do the math warm-ups. I do not have the math warm-ups linked, so I will show you how to get to that. But after you do at least 2 slides on the math warm-ups, then you will do the Blooket and the Nearpod. And you don't have to finish all of these stations. You just get to the ones that you get to. Okay, so definitely make sure you get your Alex done. That's really not optional. But the rest of these, just get to what you can get done within like that normal math period time. So we have 60 minutes of math. So after you've done your student pages for today, then do your math stations and spend about 60 minutes on your math. Okay? So if you're looking for the math warm-ups, in that math stations folder, so if we go back out to math stations, so I'm going to click on math stations, the folder here. Then we have math warm-ups. And it's going to take it a minute to load. There we go. These are the math warm-ups. So when you open them, yours will look slightly different than mine. This is a teacher portal and not the student. But when you open it, it will say assignment, and then it will say my document. So yours would say assignment, and then it would say my document. For me, it says in progress and then submissions. But when you click on my document, which should be right here, you will see a Google slide presentation that says 6th grade math warm-ups. You will open that. Now, if your Google account has not been linked into this Schoology course yet, then it will ask you to connect or log into your Google account first. If you keep getting a red message with it having trouble loading or not having the assignment there, just exit out of Schoology and go back in. That usually will fix that problem. But you will have these slides. These slides are posted as images. So what it does is about the first 15 slides or so are all review from 5th grade math skills. And then you start getting into the 6th grade math skills. And by the time you finish the 6th grade warm-ups, then you have completed all of your math skills for the 6th grade. With this, since these are images, when you edit, you will add a text box. So you go up here to your toolbar, and there is a box with a T in it. So you will click that box, and then you will stretch it out to add a text box to answer your questions. So you will type in your answers. So these are your own copies of these slides. If you delete one, it's not friendly for me to go back in and add that. It's possible, but we would have to be logged in at the same time, and I would have to have you on GoGuardian, and then I can go in and add what you've accidentally deleted. So it is a bit of a process. So please try not to delete anything on here. You are also welcome to write your answers on a piece of paper. Then you can go to slide and new slide, and it will put a blank slide right after the one you've selected, or you could just hit the plus for a new slide over here. And then you can add an image of your work. So you would hold your paper up to your computer camera. So you would go to image, and then you would go to camera, and you would add it that way. There is another option if you're familiar with scanning things onto your Google Drive, then you can scan it and then insert the image from your computer or from your drive. But the easiest way that I've found to tell students to add an image of their work is to just go to insert, go to their camera, and then take a picture of their work. You do need to make sure that I can read it when you do that. But if you are just doing math stations for the first time, you want to do the first 2 slides here. We want to get slide 1 and slide 2 completed for the math warm-ups. So once you've completed slide 1 and slide 2, then you can move on to the Blooket and the Nearpod. The Blooket and the Nearpod are both linked in that PDF where we had the center rotations. So all you would have to do is go to that and click on those links. There wasn't a great way to do that with the math warm-ups without going into details about how to find a copy of something on your Google Drive. So you can just hover over Blooket or hover over the Nearpod and click it, and it will automatically open up into the window with what you need. These stations will change throughout the year, throughout the weeks, as we go along. So just know that will happen, and you'll see different ones. But always start with ALEKS, then your math warm-ups, and then if there's another technology station on here, you are welcome to complete those as well. So that concludes session 3. If you have questions at any point, please reach out to me. So for session 3, you're going to complete your student pages. All right, so these pages here, you're going to complete those. And then once you complete those, you are moving on to your math stations. ALEKS, math warm-ups, and then your technology stations.